Conscientiousness is one of those terms that gets used in, I guess, popular culture that, oh, such and such is really conscientious. And we get the idea that we're talking about following the rules and doing the right thing. And the characteristic of conscientiousness definitely captures some of that idea. Now, conscientiousness is made up of a combination of industriousness, but also orderliness. And people vary on their levels of each of those. So industriousness, a person who's really high in industriousness, they're going to be a really hard worker. They're going to be a person who's going to be constantly going, okay, how do I get this work done and spend less time doing it? They're constantly thinking about how they can speed processes up. They want to do something that's really useful, but they also are a bit judgy of people who don't want to do the work. I'm fairly high in industriousness and a bit judgy. They tend to succeed in these kind of, in school. They tend to work really hard. And they're good in this kind of admin and managerial type roles where you really need someone just to knuckle down and get a bunch of work done. And they also feel guilty when they don't get work done. Okay, so someone who's really, really high in industriousness is always focused on what work can I get done? How can I get it done quicker? How can I be more effective? Now, the other component of conscientiousness is this idea of orderliness, and you can see how they fit together really nicely, but then you don't necessarily come up really high in both, okay? So you can vary on them. Now, orderliness is they, tend to see things in black and white. Everything has to be organized. We're talking at the extreme ends of orderliness. So a person who's high in orderliness is more likely you go into their room and everything has a place. You go into their office or their computer setup and everything is carefully organized. Now, I know there's probably one or two of you who are like that, but I'll bet you a lot of you are not that high in orderliness. And interestingly, people who are high in conscientiousness tend to go to bed earlier and wake up earlier, which I think is really interesting because we know that personality has a biological component. And so biologically, people who are higher in conscientiousness are actually more likely to be early bird catches the worm type people. Now, if a conscientious person turns up to a bar, now, to be honest, they might consider not turning up because they might have other things to do. But if a conscientious person who is really high, particularly high in industriousness, turns up at a bar, it's highly likely that they're going to want to order everybody a round of drinks. And they may well organize to get a cloth to wipe up, and they'll be wanting to work and to do things the whole time. They might also be thinking about their job. They might find it difficult to switch off, and they might find it difficult to just relax. They might be thinking, okay, what could I be achieving at this time? And these are, at the extreme end of industriousness. Now, if you think about orderliness, this is the person that can't help but get the empties off the table and take them back to the bar. Borrow the cloth to make sure that the table's all wiped up. They want to make sure that everything's tidy, that it's clean, that everything's it's in its place and everything's working as it should. So you can imagine the benefit of having someone who's really, really high in industriousness and high in orderliness have on the team, but it also has implications for the way in which we engage with one another. So conscientiousness. Everybody needs a level of conscientiousness. We all have a level of conscientiousness. Some of us have a lower level of conscientiousness than perhaps we should, but you can change it. You can actually improve your level of industriousness and your level of orderliness, but it takes time. So conscientiousness, really important characteristic.